All right, first stop on the trip here for the Halloween weekend, J.Mattingly. This is one of my most favorite places to go because of the thieving experience. We'll call it thieving experience. We'll call it a blending experience. They have a lot going on here. Some of the most generous people that you're ever going to want to meet. And so we're going to go downstairs. We're going to meet with our experienced person, and we're going to go from there. So let's take this trip. All right, welcome to Pars and Pours. This is Jim and
Dakota.
We have Dakota here, the head of the experiences, right? Tasting experience. And this is called the J.Mattingly private event.
Yes.
All right, so what I understand now, this is probably my fourth time doing this, and this is like one of my most favorite things to do. Why? Because everybody's hunting for unicorns. Everybody wants to get that special blend. How can you not make your own unicorn? How can you not make your own blend when you have the choice of all these barrels, and there's several that you can't see, and you get to make your own? How can that not be the most special thing on the planet? And that's how we started. Actually, I started my bourbon journey here, a couple of years back, and learned how to drink rye, learn how to taste whiskeys and that kind of stuff, and we always keep coming back. The other part of this is that J.Mattingly, the company itself, does a tremendous amount of charity work with. They had Navy SEALs, Marines. I saw one for the Vietnam veterans, the local fire departments. You can't go a quarter without seeing one or two releases where they're helping other organizations. So help them, right? And they're really good people. They just really, really are. So explain to it so that they understand what is it we're doing.
So the J.Mattingly private event, it is a fun blending process. And so what you do is you come in, you choose what kind of whiskey you want to work with, whether it be one of the bourbons or the rye. Sometimes we have light whiskey in here when we have enough barrels. And you choose the mash bill, and you taste some single barrels, and then we start blending them together to create your own profile. Each barrel is going to have its own unique properties to itself, and so we try to have, you pick out, okay, I love barrels 1 and 2. I'm not a big fan of barrel number 3, but barrel number 4 might be my favorite, and so we'll take some barrel number 4, mix a little bit of barrel 2 and 1 there, see how you like it, and create your own custom blends. And you get to choose the bottle shapes, the name that goes on the bottles. We have different wax colors every day. And basically create your own custom bottle that no one else will ever have, because you can't create the same blend every day. The barrels change every day, therefore you'll never recreate the same thing.
And the reason why we're standing in front of the Rise is because I picked out a name a month ago of what I wanted to do. Otherwise we'd be over there in the darker. He has this darker, nuttier kind of barrel set over there, which is honestly one of my favorite bourbons, but we're going to hear and we'll show you what the name's going to be when we're all said and done. All right, so let's get started.
Alrighty, and so real quick, actually, because we were talking while you're setting up camera, I forgot your tasting glass, and so because you did get a tasting glass with this. All right. And so let me go grab that for you.
James Graves Mattingly.
So J.Mattingly, it stands for Jeff Mattingly, our founder, but his great uncle times 5, John Graves Mattingly.
John, that's what it was.
He started the second registered distillery in the state of Kentucky in 1845.
Okay, and then we have the other claim to fame is another Mattingly was the one that kind of perfected the column still.
Yeah. Oh, that was John Graves. Yeah, John Graves.
So I did get it right.
Yeah, no, John Graves. He was his cigarette style still. There was a few modifications, I believe, to what is now commonly used as column still, but it was really one of the first iterations of what today's column still is. And so he had a lot of innovation, and he was actually one of the first distilling producers to sell to other companies as well. That's one thing that people don't know about, is that we all know about sourcing from, like this right here, this is MGP rye. MGP sells to other companies. John Graves Mattingly was doing that in the 1800s. He was actually one of the 3 distillers that were selling to Old Forester. When they started out, they were sourcing from 3 different companies before they started distilling, and one of them was the Mattinglys.
Well, there you go. And I know one more. I know one more Mattingly. So because within the whiskey industry, there are a lot of families intertwined, right? A lot of family, and because they like helping each other out. It's a very family-oriented thing. And then if you go to Maker's Mark, and you go to Maker's Mark, and the gal that they are giving a whole lot of credit to for the dipping, for the label, the whole 9 yards, was a Mattingly.
Yep.
And
Margie Mattingly.
Yep.
She was a great gal. She designed the bottle shape and wax design that they still use today. Of course, married into the Samuels, and of course helped Bill Samuel create what Maker's Mark is. And then also, you talk about marrying into families. That I've seen the family history and the family tree. I mean, married into the Beams, and so there's all sorts of connections there, and really all over Kentucky. Mattingly is the Smith of Kentucky in some ways. So you're constantly getting new lines of lineage. We've actually had members of the family who we didn't know about who live on John Gray's Mattingly's property still. And so they came here, helped us fill in, and now they have their own. They did this and created their own Mattingly bottles, and so it's been really fun learning about that history.
See, that's the beauty of this whole thing. Not only this is you end up with a great product, but the history, the techniques.
Yeah.
That's what brings me up here. I think this is just the greatest thing.
Oh yeah, and it is one of those that we love talking about the history because whiskey is history and a lot of American history, but we love trying to create our own history, and that's what we're about to do because this is going to be a once in a life blend we're going to try right here.
And you're also, I mean, J.Mattingly also, I mean, rocked the world with the double staving.
Yeah, and so every barrel that comes into this facility, we do what we call double staving. So let me grab some props
let's go up here and we'll talk about double staving.
And so
that's just pleasurable right there.
Yeah, so right here, this first barrel, barrel number 1, if you want to take notes, or the actual barrel number is 1052. But to talk about the double staving, so here when we empty a barrel, we take that barrel apart. And of course, everyone should know what this is, but this is a barrel stave. So side pieces that make up the barrel. We will take this, we will chop it down into smaller pieces, and we will clean off all the outside gunk that barrel has accumulated over the years. You don't want any of that rust that those barrel rings left on there. But we will take them, turn them into pieces about this size, and we will char them to different levels, or we will toast them, and we put these back into the barrels. So it'd be a little hard to hear. I'll use the mic, but you can hear all the barrel staves down inside this barrel. And this barrel right here that you just tried has about 20 heavy char staves. And when I say 20 staves, so each one of these pieces here, it's about half the size of stave. So we're counting this as a half piece. So there's about 40 pieces like this down in that barrel that we stick right through the bunk hole.
So is it the idea, is it to give it, I mean, while it's sitting in the barrel, it's still, you can still consider it aging?
Yes, and so it's sitting in there aging, and essentially, not gonna lie, our founder, the reason he did this is because he originally wanted to do a double oaking, taking the whiskey out of a barrel, put it into a brand new barrel. He tried ordering barrels. He said, damn, this is expensive. And he couldn't afford new barrels, and because he wanted to do a lot of them, he's like, if I buy one barrel, it's not gonna be worth the money if you're just doing one. And he's like, well, I've got all these old barrels laying around. What if I take that wood and do something with it? And so he just started taking them apart, took a propane torch, started charring them, and then you are good to go.
If you look at this, there's a whiskey line in here. It tells you how far that the whiskey got into the barrel.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure that imparts a little flavor once you get it a little bit.
It does. It's hard to say how much flavor, because a lot of times these barrels before we do this have been sitting for months. They've really dried out. We're probably not using the freshest dumps, the freshest dump barrels when doing this. But we have done a few experiments, and we have noticed a few differences because we'll just use any stave that we have for these, but there have been a few where it's like, okay, we're only putting staves from rye barrels in this one. We're only putting staves from bourbon barrels in this one. Trying out, see if that makes a difference. And We haven't noticed too much of a difference doing that.
You have or have not?
Have not.
Okay.
And so it's one of those that we want to try out what we can. What we've noticed really that makes the biggest difference is, of course, how much time it's spent, what time of year you put those staves in. Of course, putting the staves in there during the winter when it's cooler, a little bit less effective when it's warmer.
Okay.
But also just the heat treatment, whether you're charring it with flame or toasting it. I told you earlier that we toast ours using a smoker. That right there, it makes the biggest difference, the cooking process.
So what have you found that, is it a combination of different staves, or is it just like 20 of these and that's it, and 20 of those and that's it?
So the amount of staves and the type of staves are kind of determined by a few things. One, we put up to 70 staves in a barrel, which means 140 of these. Put as many staves as we can to make sure, it's filled up pretty well, but we're not wasting any wood. We do notice that the different cooking processes do help bring out a few different kinds of flavors.
Like what?
So specifically on light char, it's going to be all of your light vanillas and your lighter sugars, where the heavy char is going to be your classic, your darker caramels, things like that. But my favorite, of course, is the toasted. I love any toasted bourbon or rye whiskey on the market. And what I've noticed in particular, you get a lot more of those true wood notes. And part of that is because this doesn't have that layer of carbon where the whiskey is being filtered as it goes in and out of the wood. You're getting all that true wood flavor, especially the dark, rich oaks, some of that wood spice coming out. That's why I love the toasted.
Okay. Well, this first one is, I've been able, since we've been talking, I get the typical brown sugar, I get the typical the rye grain, but it's not it's not heavy.
No.
It's not a heavy. It's a very nice grain, and these are all 95.5s.
Yes, all 95.5s.
My favorite.
Yeah, the Pennsylvania style, very high rye, zero corn. We really like that. Of course, there are a lot of companies, they like having corn in their rye. We've noticed that for us, if we've already got light whiskey and bourbon, but very high corn products, why would our rye have corn in it? That's why we choose the Source 95.5.
I would agree completely and wholeheartedly, because what I've been finding out, and we call it the other way around, where you call it high rise, or you use the corn, it makes the rye sharper, and that's what turns people off.
Yeah.
When you have it all the rye with the malt, because the maltiness gives it kind of like we'll call it a toasty kind of note, it tends to make it weaker, right? The flavors, it's not as sharp.
And for me, I think what you're calling sharp is like, to me, because that corn's bringing so much sugar, I think the only flavor that rye brings that stands up to that sugar is the spice.
Yeah.
And that's what people always come in, I don't like rye, I don't like spicy. I'm like, try this rye. And they're like, oh my God, it's softer, it's more that herbal, floral type notes. I'm like, yeah, that's what you get with zero corn in your rye.
No, I'm down. That one could stand up by itself as a really nice rye, to be sure. All right. Yeah. So number 2.
Alrighty.
I'm gonna go here. Just a little bit left over.
Yeah. And so barrel 1195 or barrel number 2, whatever you'd like. Now, real quick, we actually just brought this barrel in here last night, so you're going to actually be the first group to really try this barrel.
Woohoo! We're
and
first,
so
and we're
I have to make a sample of it real quick, so I'm going to do that. I got to get a bottle.
Well, that's perfect. It gives this time to rest a little bit.
Yeah.
A light rye kind of setup. I really like that quite a bit. This one is, I don't know if it's, the rye is almost indistinguishable in this one. Man, this is a soft rye too. Oh, we're going to measure proof in the whole 9 yards, aren't we?
Yep.
All I get on this one is sweet.
Okay.
It's funny. I mean, nice, very light tones, very well done, and this is just all. It's just a big, ginormous, sugary mess. It's great. Look at that thing.
Got to proof out the bottle. There's 3 things you come down here, and there's 3 things people like to focus on that I think aren't super important. I think the color of the whiskey is not important, and the reason is because if it was clear but tasted amazing, I'd still drink it.
No doubt.
I think people pay too much attention to the proof because they're like, oh man, I want to use this barrel. It's the highest proof. It's going to bring the proof up. But you said it's your least favorite. Why are you going to use it? And so people focus on that too much. And then
there's your rye.
The other one, honestly, the age. Most people, they do come down here and they choose the oldest bourbon or the oldest whiskey we have in here. But I've had amazing 2-year-old whiskey. I've had really crappy 20-year-old whiskey. So to me, pick the one you think you're going to like the best. That's the one you go with.
That's been our mantra, whatever tastes good. That's really the mantra. Maybe we ought to put that in there. Welcome to Pars and Pours. It's whatever tastes good.
So that was rating about 120.5, and it was 69.4 degrees Fahrenheit.
Right.
And right here, the real proof is actually 116.8.
Nice.
And I know someone who's watching this video is going to say, true proof is 20 degrees centigrade. That is for Europe. Anybody on the metric system, true proof is at 20 degrees centigrade, which is around 58 point something degrees. Here in America, we use 60 degrees Fahrenheit.
You're not hitting a bad one just yet at all. This one has a little more grain. This one is a little sweeter in flavor. I like it. And if you look, if you did the color thing, this one is, I mean, they both got good, they got good looks, but this one just a hair darker. This one just a hair darker. I like that. I think the more you put in it, maybe the darker it becomes.
Yeah, that is one thing. The more whiskey in the bottle, but also something people don't think about, the shape of the bottle is a big factor whether it's light.
Really?
So if you have a bottle that thins out, let's say, I'm just going to say like the Woodford bottle, a flat bottle like that, that whiskey is kind of pushed out, it's thinned out, so it's going to show up a lighter color than it actually is. If you have a kind of more squat bottle that's a little more round and it's more compact, I like to say, it's not spread out, you can tell how much darker that color is. You know, it's probably the same color you put in the glass, but in this bottle, it looks darker.
Well, that's a heck of a selling point,
and
because that people are looking for that, just like you said, that color. 1051. All right.
So there you go. And
I'll take my pad from underneath yours, so you got a good writing surface.
And I'm gonna.
Let's make sure it's not scary. Ha ha ha. I think I said that already. All right.
Scary good. That's what.
Scary good. Brand new barrel. Got to let it open for a little bit. 53 gallons. So when you guys get these barrels, does Jeff or anybody, they go up and they taste them and say, we want these, or they just say,
no,
send me 4 barrels and we're just going to make the best out of everything?
Gonna be completely honest, we don't order enough to have that kind of opportunity. There are, if we order from a barrel broker, not from MGP, we just say, hey, send us some barrels. But if we go to a barrel broker to get some barrels from someone else, from another distillery, we will get samples sent to us. And there's some we can say, hey, we want to make sure we get this particular barrel. But then if we only get 10 samples, and let's say we get 50 barrels, the other 40 we're not really tasting. We're just like, okay, they're all going to be this kind of profile. But there's sometimes we can't say, hey, you said this is barrel 250032. We want this one because it's amazing. And so sometimes we can do that, but
and then you're making your own by putting the staves in anyway and letting it set.
So, and those staves right there, definitely adding our own fingerprint to sourced whiskey, and also we really focus on blending here. We're very picky on single barrels. We believe 1 or 2 out of 100 are single barrel worthy, and that's another way we kind of make it our own as well.
Now this one's different. So you do have a different profile. This one is very rye forward, very rye forward. It's not bad. It's just, and you know, like brown sugars and the fruits and the sweet and then the grain.
Yep.
This is the grain first and then everything else after.
You can say it tastes like rye whiskey.
Yeah, exactly. Right. That's pretty. I mean, it's still not. It's still good.
Yeah.
And it depends on, you know, some guys want that spice and they want that flavor.
And that's the whole fun thing about this, is that you could bring 5 people to this station as a group. They could all make 5 different blends just by changing the ratios, and everyone's going to like something different.
Oh yeah.
And so is a true create your own custom thing. And
man, this is totally different. The cool part about this is you get that rye. You're starting to get the lingering finish now, starting to happen. But this one has an oily texture in it.
Oh, really?
A little bit of an oily texture in it where the other ones didn't.
Okay.
And wow, it's almost in the middle. When you said the floral, I kind of get that light, I call it light fruity kind of note, very light, where it almost floral. But man, we're going to put rye forward on this one. I think it would be a good add to something to give it that just touch of the rye. Because it does, I mean, it's right there.
Yeah.
All right. You guys are doing, this whole staving thing has been, you know what, I'm a fan.
And
I'm a fan.
It's something that we try to focus on. And one thing that I don't think I mentioned earlier is because we're not the only people that do staving, but I think we might be the people who do it the longest. And the reason I say that is I've seen some places, we stay finished for 2 months, or we do 6 weeks or something like that. And for us, we use that barrel when it's ready. There's been times where we've staved a barrel, and 2 weeks later, that barrel is amazing. But then there's times where we've staved it, and we're like, okay, we gotta let this sit, and then those staves have been there for 2+ years. And so if you're adding 60 pieces this size in there for 2 years, that's a ton of extra wood contact for those 2 years going on. And so that's something we kind of focus on. We don't want to use that barrel till it's ready. And so if it's ready in a few years, it's ready in a few years. If it's ready after 6 weeks, it's ready after 6 weeks.
J.Mattingly has they have bourbon, their shelfer product, Bourbon 30.
Yep.
And they have you still have a 90 and 100?
Yes. And on occasion, we do have our Halloween bottle, Bourbon 31. We did sell out of it yesterday, but I got a sample. I'll have you sample it. And it's actually, we call it a Frankenstein blend. It's a blend of bourbon, rye, and light whiskey.
See, now, and it's the 31st, but they sold out on the 30th. What's up with that?
We only made 200 bottles this year.
Yeah. And then but then also now, is double stave going to be a shelfer product now?
Yeah, so every product we do is double staved. The Bourbon 30 is double staved. All of our military bottles are double staved. You'll see everything up in our gift shop and out distributed now will say finished with oak staves. For rye and light whiskey, it will say colored and flavored with oak staves.
But the black label, the stuff that you see out there, so
yeah.
But you won't see. So what we're talking about is they have a product that's called Bourbon 30. Bourbon 30 comes in a couple weight classes, 90 and 100.
Yeah.
And now J.Mattingly got a truckload of awards for this black label, double staved bourbon. Got lots of points, and it was phenomenal. Actually, I was here doing my bottle the second or third time when you guys were just releasing batch 1.
That's going to be one of 2 standard J.Mattingly products. Our classic double staved, which is the proof changes on every batch. So the current batch upstairs is 114 proof. We've had 116 proof, 119 proof batches. So all in that between 110 and 120 is what we shoot for. But we're actually soon going to be releasing a standard J.Mattingly 96 proof. And so it's going to be older than the Bourbon 30s, but that little bit lower proof point.
That was this one, right?
No, you're trying.
Okay.
And that one right there, that last barrel, I forgot to mention, that's been finished with toasted staves. Everything else over here has been heavy char.
I was going.
Yeah.
You can tell the difference. I was just like, this is a light, just real easy. As much as I hate to say it, like toasted marshmallow kind of thing going on. And I was like, wow, that's really super duper.
And that's why I love the toasted staves. It just brings out a unique profile. And I say any kind of toasted product from us is going to have that kind of campfire-y profile to it. And I love campfire bourbons because those are the bourbons you just pass around with your buddies. You don't pour it into a glass. You drink it out of the bottle.
And turn it down.
That's how you create good memories and get into nefarious stuff, I like to say.
Was it poor decisions or good pours make bad decisions?
Yeah.
But this one is exactly what you were talking about as far as the toasted. It lightened everything up a little bit, and I can see why you would like it because This would be one of those, oh, I don't like rye.
Right.
This would be the, well,
Yeah.
here you go.
You definitely
Try
find
this
those.
one.
I like to say they're your bourbon drinker ryes.
Well, I get where you're coming from because put me in the I hate IPA category. And actually, it's because of here that I got into ryes, because I walked in here and did exactly what you're talking about. Oh, you want to try rye? No, I do not. Why? It's sticky, it's spicy. I'm not here for that. I want to enjoy my drink.
Yep.
And the guy goes, well, try one of these.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that's not so bad.
Yeah.
And here we go. And since then, it's been I don't shy away from it.
Right.
But I do like it. I will shy away from the high rye bourbons, but I won't shy away from 95.5 rye.
Right.
I just think, man, you did great.
And I will let you know, so we are actually about to have another group come down here. The rest of the people have.
And I like that, and that not as a oily finish, but that sticky marshmallowy finish was right there. I thought that was really cool.
And I'm going to go get
like that.
And then I've got a cylinder here.
Okay.
And now we've tried our 4 barrels, we're going to start blending.
Okay, let's blend.
All right, so what I recommend for everything, and this is what I tell everyone, we have 4 barrels, but we don't have all day to be here.
Right.
This is and I can only serve you so much whiskey. So I always tell people, if you have a least favorite barrel, which sometimes you don't, you like them all. If you have a least favorite, kick it out. You know, focus on 2 or 3 barrels, because that's the way I've found success.
Right.
And then most of the time, if you take your favorite barrel, make that majority, you know, anywhere from 50, 60, 70%, or even higher sometimes, and then you add on to that, you're probably going to like it, because if your favorite's the main category and you add something onto it, you're probably going to love it.
Right. Well, I like the toasted, to be sure. I like these 2 are like a 1A and 1B.
Okay.
But I think I like this one a little bit better than that one.
Okay.
Because it's a little more complex and it's a little bit more mellow than that one. And then this one, if we wanted to add just a touch of kick, that's where I would go. So I would majority these 2 first.
What if we did this? Because if you really like that one, what if we did like 60% that, 30% this, and then should add 10% of that kick?
I'm down with that.
All right.
Nope, that sounds like a winner to me.
Oh, it's got a great nose to it. Oh, you got a little bit left in there.
I'm gonna go around and try to explain as much as possible. Like you said.
Don't want to get any cross-contamination.
That's right.
That's why I tell people. People all the time they say, you must have the best job. More, I say it is the best job in the world, because I get to drink whiskey and I get to talk about whiskey. Most people, that's their hobby.
That's
and
right.
so,
like me.
Yeah, people are like, hey, I'm about to retire in a few months. You got any openings? I'm like, here's the email address. Email this guy. You know, he does all of our hiring.
Right.
And so, some people, most of the time they don't want to move all the way to Kentucky for it though.
This one's got I get just the hint of that with the majority of this one from the nose and almost none of that.
No.
This is our rye whiskey station.
I like
That's what they're working out right there. So if you like rye, you probably like that station.
A little too much.
A little too much of the
A
heat.
little
Okay.
too much.
Well,
Because that's all I'm picking up.
okay. And it's one of those that even though that was only 10% of that blend, barrels interact with each other differently. Sometimes you get the best of each barrel. Sometimes a barrel, they just don't interact with it. It just gets really hot. So if you think you're getting too much of that one and it's only 10%, let's try a blend without that one.
Okay.
Because if you're at 10%, if you're feeling like it's too much, then of course we don't want to go the other direction.
Right.
And so I say let's just try one without it.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a bad flavor. It's not that thing. But I don't want, what I'm looking for is the opposite. I want the rye to be a component of it, not to be the leader of it. And when we put that little bit in here, it did that.
Yeah. So give me 1 second here. And I know you already have a name picked out, but one thing I always let people know when they come down here, naming the bottle is the hardest part of the whole thing.
Oh, I came with the name.
Yeah. And so, typically 25 characters, no cursing, no trademarks.
Nope.
That's our rules for the names.
Nope, we got that. We're in. Here we go. That more fruity tone. I'm gonna let it sit for a minute. Let it sit and touch each other for a little bit longer.
That's one thing. People come down here and whether they make bottles, in remembrance or celebrating. So many people come down here for anniversaries or they're making their wedding bottles or something like that. It's truly a way to remember a special time in your life, I'm a watch guy. People buy watches when something big happens. There's a bunch of people, they come down and they make whiskey when something special happens.
Oh my. Oh yeah. There it is.
Yeah.
Second try. I think we knocked it out of the park on the second try. Wow.
Yep.
You get the marshmallowy tones. You get the brown sugary type, and I think that's carrying over from that one maybe. And then just at the very end, you get that rye grain, rye spice at the very end. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I think that you hit it out of the park, man.
Hit it out of the park. All right. And it's one of those people tell me all the time, "Oh, you're great at this. You're great at blending." I try to let you do it. If you tell me what barrels you like, it's pretty easy to work with.
Yeah, you get that. It almost graham crackery now.
Yeah.
And with a little bit of the oiliness that we talked about earlier, because that's what one of these brought.
Yeah.
And then just that rye spice on the end. Perfect.
Yeah.
That's exactly the way I like them. Right? You get, just to let you know that's there, but you still get the good flavors in on it.
Right.
Let's do that.
Okay.
So now we're into putting the wax on it. And the secret to putting wax on a bottle is the cork.
Yes. You do not want to use, so a lot of places they might use a wood cork that goes in there. You can tell this is a one-piece rubber cork, all molded in one piece. If we were to use a wooden cork, that's the cork with a wood piece glued on, we dip it in a hot wax. If you ever have a bottle that breaks, the cork breaks real easy, that cork was probably heated up at some point, and the glue gets real fragile and breaks apart. So we're going to do the green first real quick. I'm going to make sure it's all mixed up.
We asked for a big, really nice dark green because of the rye, and I like green, and so the McGolf colors are that same thing.
Now, one thing's very imperative. Cannot have that wax drip. Maker's Mark will send you a cease and desist and try to sue you if you have wax drip on your bottles. And so we, a lot of places, they might just like hang it down, or they might cut the wax strips off after they let it dry. What we do is we dunk it in water, and what that does, it rapidly cools the outside, and when we lift it up, it will be cool. Now we get these little tails, and we just pull that right off.
There you go. So is this any special type of string, or is it a piece of tape? What is that?
I don't know. I think it's specifically made for things like this, for breaking wax. I don't know if it's specifically meant for the whiskey industry.
Oh,
and so it's just it's kind of a really thick fiber tape, like kind of like those fiber tapes you see on Amazon packages that you can never break open.
Yeah.
It's like a fiber tape is what it is.
So now here we see the expert at work, because we're going black or orange and black.
Now, especially when we're going to drizzle on another color, we try to get as much excess off as possible. So I always like to give it a good shake or two.
Specifically, I saw that you guys just released a bottle for the Combat Medic. Combat Medic.
And that's with the red and white, and so we're gonna.
That's how we do it. And my friends back home know this is not a Cincinnati Bengals thing. This is a Halloween
No,
thing.
as a Steelers fan, I refuse to call this Cincinnati Bengals colors.
There you go. Oh, we got Waverly Tigers. That's the hometown and the kids there. That would be cool.
Usually we have waxes melted every day, but if you call and let us know, like, hey, I'm going to be here on this day, can you all have green and orange wax on for us? Or you can, I want red and white or specific colors. It's something that we love allowing people to do to further customize their bottles. If you don't tell us, then we'll just have a bunch of random colors on, and you can get whatever you want. Most people don't care, but so many times, Alabama fans come in and say, we can't have that yellow and purple on our bottle.
Oh, no. No, or anything else.
Yeah.
All right, so we finished it. We're here with Dakota. Dude, thank you.
You're welcome.
That was phenomenal. So we got our special picks. We got our last rites, mixed spooky for Mrs. Pars and Pours. Yeah. But we got the other one. Yeah. And they had something special for us. And this is Bourbon 31, the special Halloween blend. And so what was special about this?
And so this one, we don't mix our mash bills very often. We kind of stick to, mixing barrels of the same mash bill. But for Bourbon 31 Halloween, the idea is to create a Frankenstein blend. So this is a blend of 6-year-old bourbon, 6-year-old rye whiskey, and 10-year-old American light whiskey.
So, and we had a chance to taste it, and it is phenomenal. And I got one of the last ones before they all got sold out. So count me in lucky for the holiday weekend. So again, if you get the chance and you see J.Mattingly on there, visit the website, see what they do, see what they offer. And if you're in the Frankfurt area, get a call. Maybe you get lucky and you get a guy like Dakota to take you around and you get to do that blending experience. They do have others, right? They do have others, but this is by far and away one of my most favorite. And for what you get out of it, the price for performance here is off the chart, absolutely off the chart. So again, if you see anything that if you see anything you want to see, put it down in the show notes below and let me know. And as always, let's save those pars, but share the pours.